moderator. Good morning. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, this morning I would like to present my paper about sociological approach to the function of translation Qur'an in Palembang language in the field of Dakwah and the field of education in Palembang, Sumatra. This study aimed to analyze the function of the translation Qur'an in Palembang language in the field of Dakwah and the field of education. The three main focus in this research are the dynamic of the translation Quran in many languages in Indonesia, and the second one is factors causing the necessity the translation Quran in Palembang language, and the third one is the function of the translation Quran in Palembang language in the field of Dakwah and the field of education. The research method used is a qualitative case study. A qualitative case study method with sociological approach, educational approach, and religious approach. The data was collected by using literature review, exploring and reviewing literature, in-depth interview with Ministry of Religion official, and data were analyzed using the qualitative descriptive technique. The final result shows that there are two important functions of the translation Quran in Palembang language. Firstly, in the field of Dakwah, and secondly, in the field of education. The relationship between them is change. Change, behavior change, and ability change. The research shows that there are several factors causing the necessity of Quran translation. The first one is low ability to understand Arabic language, and the second one is the different ability to understand Indonesia. Although Palembang, one of the city in Indonesia, some of people do not understand Indonesian language. Application of this study. We know that some researchers can continue this research in other aspects of the translation Quran in Palembang language. Furthermore, the task of local government is to realize in using Palembang language translation of the Quran as a part of curriculum, not only for formal education like school, madrasah, and university, but also informal education like family and non-formal education. For example, Majelis Taklim, Dinia, and Halaqah. Many studies on translation are generally talking about the process and method of translation, the quality of translation, history of translation. But this paper, however, does not discuss about the process, does not discuss about method, quality, history of the translation. Instead, it focuses on the function of translation in the field of Dakwah and education, and its impact on target communities. Al-Quran as a scripture and the first source of law in Islam and the source of Islam teaching need to be understood, the content and meaning contained therein, to understand the content of the Quran needs to be translated into the language where Muslims are. The effort to translate the Quran is not new. It has been carried out since the beginning of the 2nd century, where the Quran was translated into the Latin by Robert of Cotton. Until now, the Quran has been translated into various languages of the world, such as Persian, Turkish, Urdu, Indian, Japanese, English, French, Spanish, Mandarin, Indonesian, to several languages of countries in Africa. Nowadays, the Quran has been translated into 20 local languages. Those are Aceh, Batak Angkola, Minang, Palembang, Sunda, Java Banyumas, Osing or Java Banyuwangi, Dayak, Bugis, Madura, Sasak, Kaili, Mongondo, Malay Ambon, Bali, Banjar, Kalimantan, etc. Plus one translation into Mandar language. There are several studies and research related to the study. For example, ECHO at 2006 said that translation both into English and French, which is done for his work in Italian, blah blah blah. That is, a translation is an attempt to express it again in another language in almost the same way. Number 2, Anissa Indriati from UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, write an article study of the translation of the Quran. And third one, another researcher on, also from UIN Jogja, write an article, the method translation of the Quran in Batak Angola language. And this paper is study to the method translation of the Quran by Batak Angola language. The fourth one is the Quran methodology in Fum. You know Fum? Fum Aceh language, written by Tengku Haji Mahadidin Yusuf. The method used by translators is the Istimali method, which explain global meaning. And the 5, there is also the translation Quran in Bandar language, which translated by Ida Khalil, creation and studied by Hudel. Methodology. The research belongs to a qualitative case study approach. The case study approach provides text description, as Blatter said, that in-depth analysis. A case study uses multiple data resources such as interview, observation, and document analysis. Based on the research above, this research study aimed to analyze the function of the translation. And sources of data are acquired in the form of quality data. The quality data is acquired from a variety of reading material, which are from the library in the form of primary data and the secondary data. And then data collection can be acquired from the process of observation and in-depth interview. After that, after going through the selection stage, data is then analyzed. The data from website, the data from document, and the depth interviews will be transcribed. Thank you for coming in this seminar. If you have any question, you can ask to me. Thank you. That's all.